Nameco over here, Dustin over there. We're even talking trades leading up to the last second of the show. Fantasy Smack Talk. He's trying to get Brandon Marsh from another league.
I'm trying.
Go ahead, give him some silo, buy highs.
He's trying to play mind games with me for why he doesn't want to do it.
That's why I do it. I love doing it. It's most of the fun with Dustin.
A couple weeks in, time for some buy lows, sell highs. I'm going to do the buy lows. I'm going to start with a couple San Diego guys. My boy Danny Woodhead, Keenan Allen. They played Arizona, they played Seattle.
Good D's.
Pretty tough, pretty tough. And other than Rivers and Gates, there hasn't been much going on that offense. That's going to change. Don't give up on Keenan Allen, Danny Woodhead. Or if you want to trade for him, great buy low guys. Alshon Jeffrey, another buy low guy. He was banged up week 2, but he played. He didn't look great. He's going to be fine. You know, Jay Cutler's been better than I thought he was going to be. He's getting some yards, he's getting some touchdowns, but defenses are going to get on Marshall. One of those two is going to have a big game pretty much every week. It's going to be kind of flip-flop sometimes. And Pierre Garçon, he's going to get it going. I mean, Cousins being the starter out there could actually help him, so I think he's, definitely a guy that's going to turn things around and be close to what he was last year.
All right, as we're looking at sell high, the first one's going to be Gates for me. It ain't 1998, and he was playing then and good then. Was he? Either way, that's a long time. That's like 16 years.
Yeah,
Either way, it's not 2007. He's not the old Gates, and I understand he's been great. We've been seeing crazy form questions. I started Gates over like Thomas and whatnot because playing Seattle. No, I'm not doing that quite yet, but you can sell this guy, name recognition loan, get a lot back. I know I got to be quick in the other ones. Next one, Darren Sproles. He was hating. I could sense it out of him. Darren Sproles is the next one. He's got more points than LeSean McCoy right now. If you got some fool in your league that just looks at points scored and you can get a stud for him, do it. Last one is Matt Asiata. Go to the Adrian Peterson owner and deal this guy. I'm a little bit nervous about him because there's a new regime in Minnesota. They drafted McKinney. They drafted a guy this year. Asiata was left over. I understand Asiata ran as the number 2 all preseason and probably is the starter here. They're gonna start losing a lot. They might want to see what the kid they drafted's got. If you can deal him and get something pretty good back, I'm not saying give him away super cheap. If you get something substantial back, I love that for you.
All right, let's get to those forum questions. First one comes from Wolverine Coke. It's interesting. Name. Which tight end? Martellus Bennett at the Jets, Jason Witten at St. Louis.
It's tough. It's tough. PPR, I'm still going to go with Witten. Either way, I'm going to go with Witten. I think he has a decent game. I think Tony Romo finally has a decent game. St. Louis defense, guess what? We all thought they were going to be decent. They're not. They're giving up a ton of rushing yards. I think they're going to give up a ton of rushing yards. They'll set up the pass to tight end. I like Witten. All right, Dustin from SMV250. He's got a flex question. Should be going with Sanders out there in Denver or Pierre Thomas versus the Minnesota Vikings. And we all know Sanders is playing Seattle in that Super Bowl rematch.
At Seattle. I don't like Sanders much this week. There's a good chance Welker might be back. He's reinstated. We'll see if he plays. I don't know if it's 100% official yet. And I like that Pierre Thomas gets a little bit of a bump with Ingram being out of the way. I don't think that'll change his touches a ton, but I think he'll get a few more because of that. And I think Pierre Thomas has his best game so far this year. So I think Thomas is much, much safer. Sanders might have a higher ceiling, but I'm going with Pierre Thomas here. Next one comes from UVA boy Jay-Z. Tough one here. You got to only pick one. Lamar Miller versus Kansas City. Brian Quick versus Dallas. Asiata at New England. Bernard Pierce at Cleveland. Who are you going with?
Lamar Miller. He was kind of our boy coming in last year. Clearly that didn't work out too well. Noshan looked great, but Miller didn't look bad. Noshan gets hurt. Miller's getting all the carries. I understand it's Kansas City, but guess what? They are so banged up on defense. It's borderline sad. I like Lamar Miller to bust out, have a decent game, find the end zone even, going Lamar Miller. All right, Bunzo. You agree?
I agree.
I appreciate that. Bunzo 1012 wants to know, should I drop Toby Gerhart? I played that terrible Jacksonville, terrible offensive line.
You drafted him, so you obviously didn't watch our bus show. But anyway.
Come on, Bunzo.
You drafted him in probably the 3rd round-ish. You're giving him a longer leash than that. You gotta wait.
You're vested.
Unless it's an 8-team league, that's probably the only chance where I would even consider it. Any type of 10-team league, I'm sure there's someone on your bench that you can drop instead of Gerhart. Now let's move into them studs, duds, and sleepers. Brent?
I get to start because Mike gave me a call and said, you did such a better job than Dustin. Please do it again
That didn't
for
happen.
next week. He did give me some love. I don't know if it was pity, but either way. All right, my dud, I talked about him earlier, is Gates. And like I said, I think he can do decent. Just don't sit Gronk or Julius Thomas. I don't have any, or Jimmy even, for the love of God. I don't have any of those. I don't have Gates ranked over any of them. I got him ranked, I think, in the 7-8 range. So I'm even probably still starting a guy like Ertz over him because I do like that match against the Redskins for him. Little bonus guy for you. My sleeper is going to be Shane Vereen. I know it's a little bit scary what happened last week. We've said this how many years now? Every year?
It's hard to trust New England running
God, it's hard to trust New England running backs. I think they're both going to do good. Oakland's given up the most rushing yards in the NFL thus far. Vereen and Ridley, enough to go around. I'm going to stick with Vereen. I think he'll be fine this week. And I didn't pick him as my sleeper last week, so he didn't do good. I picked him week 1, he did good, so obviously he's going to do good now. My deep sleeper, do not hate. Do not hate. I'm not saying you got to start him.
They're going to hate.
I'm not saying you got to start him. Trent Richardson. He's got a lot of touches. He got a lot of touches before he fumbled, cuffed up the ball against the Eagles. They're playing Jacksonville.
I think he fumbled twice.
He did fumble twice, but Reggie Wayne, sneaky crafty vet, got one of them. Did you like that dive? So, here's the thing with it. They're playing Jacksonville. I think they're going to get up by a lot. I think he gets into the end zone this week. So if you're in a very touchdown-heavy league, and it's a deep league, deep sleeper, keyword, I just got a feeling he's going to fall into the end zone. Do not do anything crazy, though. He is Trent Richardson.
All right, Brent said it. He loves Trent Richardson. Start him over everybody. My dud's Donald Brown. I don't hate the matchup. I just don't like Donald Brown.
Hate the man.
He's never really impressed me that much, and I
like Donald a little bit.
He's got picked up in a lot of leagues, and I think a lot of people are getting too excited about him is my only thing. Don't be benching him over anyone decent. He's not as good as Ryan Matthews. If you wouldn't start Ryan Matthews, whoever you're starting him over,
I agree with this.
don't get so excited about your new toy that you picked up on the waiver wire and you want to put him in your lineup. He's not as good as Ryan Matthews. So that's all I'm going to say about that. My sleeper, Lamar Miller, we talked about him already. I think the Miami offense is better this year in general, all the way around. And they had a hard time getting him going last year. So I'm throwing that out, and I'm re-energized about Lamar Miller. I'm excited about him. I'm hoping he has a good game, and I think he will have a good game. Definitely would start him over Donald Brown. And my deep sleeper is Mohamed Sanu. I think he's got 1 week. He's got 1 week to show us what he can do.
1 week wonder coming.
Because then he's got a bye, and then there's a good chance that Jones and Green are back, and then it's just a mess. But Sanu this week, I like him. I think he's got a big upside.
All right, for the one, the infamous Michael Barkley, his dud is going to be Toby Gerhart. We kind of already talked about all this. Guys are asking if he should just outright cut him. The offensive line for Jacksonville is atrocious. He is getting
10 sacks.
Oh, yeah, 10 to the Redskins. It was almost an NFL record. I think 12 was a record. Either way, bad offensive line. Gerhart has no running lanes. Just feel bad for the guy. Kyrie Robinson's his sleeper. Mark Ingram's out. I think he just got screws in his hand. He's going to be out. It might be not as long, but either way, Robinson's going to be getting the goal line touches. That's pretty much a lock at this point, we feel. The Saints are 0-2. They're going to need to score points. I think he finds the end zone as well. Or Mike thinks he finds the end zone. Smart man. Deep sleeper is Brian Quick. You know, he's had 14 receptions, 7 in each game on 18 targets. Smart man Mike is, you look at targets, somebody's got to be the number one St. Louis. It's going to be Quick. He's got 18 targets. They're looking for him. In a PPR league, I absolutely love this guy as a deep sleeper as well. And Mike is the one that loves him, so it's Mike's sleeper.
You didn't do good this week.
I did terrible this week. I choked.
I'll take
You'll
it back
take it next
over
week.
next week.
I choked.
I'll do a better
I did
job.
so bad.
And not try to steal your picks that you wanted to
I like them. They're good picks, Mike.
Yeah,
They're good
trying to
picks.
steal his picks. Brent over here, Dustin
terrible.
right here. Get in the forums. You got any questions? Good luck this week. Danny boy.